I have so beautiful images as your ones, maybe we could merge, but thanks for the possibility to present the slides, the Ferisi project and the use cases in this project. Let me see. I am Maria Luisa Chiusano from the University of Naples, Italy. I am a molecular biologist and I am coordinating the activities of use case within this big project, which is related to Fair Health Science and Environmental Services. It's an EU-funded project, 26 partners, 8 different member states participating, plus one associated country, which is England, and the coordination of the CNRs from France. The duration is 3 years, and we just started last week the second year project. The rationale of the project is to consider the fact that to face the challenges related to Earth observation in the framework of the UNESCO Sustainable Developmental Goals, there are many different aspects that can be considered, and they usually are considered by domain-specific experts, and they employ sectorial expertise. This is good, but is also limiting the possibility to collaborate, to share knowledge and tools and methodologies, to perform integrated studies and have an holistic approach to the main questions that have a large societal impact, like understanding the effect of climate changes or the anthropological effects to climate changes, the biodiversity conservation, how to perform it, how to perform a sustainable agriculture, how to ensure the food, and how to have a safety life and live in well-being conditions. So Ferisi mission is to start having contributions from different domains to provide integrated services with the aims also to exploit interoperability. And the key strategy of the project is to base the efforts on applying a fair principle to data and software, and also to do this in close collaboration with the user communities that are deeply involved in these efforts in the framework of European Open Science Cloud, and also with collaboration with European infrastructures that are involved in the project, like MBRC, which is an European infrastructure, DataTerra, which is the proponent of the project from France, and Land Support that are in national infrastructures, but we are starting collaboration also with others. The project is organized in 6 work packages. Work package 5, this is one that I am leading, involves the 3 use cases that are real-life science, that meet real-life science challenges. The first use case relates to Earth and environmental dynamics. The second use case is related to the environmental biochemical asset, and the third use case involves biodiversity observation. The use cases are organized, we have pilots for each question, and we have 3 pilots for the first use case and 1 for the other 2. The first, I go roughly to the presentation of the pilots to let you understand the complexity of the different topics, and also to let you perceive which is the intention of the project to try to integrate the efforts of these different pilots. So the first pilot is the one of the related to coastal water dynamics, is performed mainly by German, Belgium, and Italian partners. The focus is on the dynamics in the coastal marine environment next to river estuaries. There is a lot of information that should be taken into account in this kind of environments, and the aim is to develop a web interface implementing strategies that have already been exploited by the partners involved in the pilot, and also tools that have been developed by them. And the idea is to support the user-friendly analytics on data that comes from multifaceted aspects related to this environment, which are images, remote sensing data, in situ data from the environments, and also biodiversity data. So this pilot is exploring a lot of public resources data, and the idea is to put them in a shape and in a way that users, even not so experts, could exploit this information and correlate, analyze, and also move to answer important questions. So the target are not only scientists, but also decision makers and other stakeholders, students also. The second pilot is focused on the Earth critical zone, and it's performed by partners from Italy. The Earth critical zone, we learned in the project, it is the region of the soil which relates to what is above and what is below, which is important for the quality of the soil. And the pilot is focused on supporting the application of the Sustainable Development Goal 15.3, which is related to the assessment on land and soil degradation. By land and soil degradation, we mean to evaluate by suitable analysis on the Earth systems in this environment that can validate the level of erosion. And the idea is to have this applied in the different countries to understand which are the critical zone. And the situation now is that indeed there are not so enough coverage of information from the data, and also the modeling of this information is still limited. And the focus in the pilot is to improve the methodologies, also to have common policies in each country. So it's devoted to solve this kind of issue at the international level. And again, the people here are working with data, with modeling, and of course, validation of these efforts. And this is the target community, similar, of course, to the ones of the previous pilot. The third pilot, still in the first use case, is managed by people mainly from France, and is really interesting and dramatic, I should say, because it's related to volcanospace observation, still on the Earth, but a dedicated aspect. And the idea is to implement a web-based platform that could allow the partners that comes already from two different areas of research in the field, solid Earth disciplines and atmospheric data disciplines, that are working together, try to access the information in real time to get important information concerning ground deformation or gas particle emissions. And this integration of these two kind of information within the pilot is really important, because it can provide risk assessment information even in the moment in which there is the eruption, and probably the instrumentation on the ground can be lost. So integrating information in real time is really important to understand what is happening and monitoring the event, but also to understand aviation, to act on aviation safety and air quality, and also for long-term analysis on the effect on the climate and atmosphere from these kind of events. The target are volcanospace observatory in the world, but also scientists, policymakers, of course. Fourth pilot is the use case 2, so environmental biochemical asset, and we look at the ocean also, where there are people involved from France, Italy, and they are focused on understanding the biogeochemical cycles, is to say the cycle of elements that are often nutrients or witness of the status of the environment, to understand how this dynamics is affecting abiotic or biotic compartments. And the story here is related to the fact that there are a lot of sensors in the sea, even on mammals that are floating, and this kind of data are deployed by observing networks that are coordinated within the framework of the global ocean observing systems. And the problem here is that there are a lot of data that should be reconciled, in situ data that should be reconciled with remote sensing data and also with modeling. So again here the pilots needs data access, validation, qualification, and they plan to build a web portal to access to this data and to allow this kind of analytics and to deliver data that are useful to the communities in fair assets. The last but not least pilot is related biodiversity observation, and just to expand the challenge in the project, we decided to deal with a novel approach that is being undertaken in the sea, that is considering omics, so sequencing the environmental DNA, the environmental traces of DNA that can be witness of the of what happened in the life in the oceans. There is an interesting effort driven by the European Marine Biology Research infrastructure that is dedicated to observing the variability of this environmental DNA in different sites, 16 sites, a long time. And so this is a starting project with a lot of challenges, and the persons work within these frameworks that are from Portugal, Belgium, and Italy, and something else that I don't remember, but it's written somewhere, so I'm sorry to forget, Greece and France. They are focusing on improving the tools for these analytics, organizing the data in arrow crates so that could be easily accessible, and also obtain derivative information on the analytics, and also exploiting virtual research environment to disseminate the data to the interested users. The idea is to evaluate the importance of having these molecular tools to understand biodiversity and to assess, to find useful indicators for understanding variability in the oceans, but also for bioprospecting studies, knowing what are the properties of living things in a place through their DNA, to understand if there can be biotechnological applications. So the contest of Ferrisi, this is the only beautiful image maybe that I have in the slide. The contest is really complicated because we are dealing with solid earth, hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere, and we are dealing with data that are from remote sensing, from direct sensing, and we are trying to compare. So all the pilots are deeply involved in performing the pilots, dealing with images, numerical data, text, molecular sequences, raw processed, high quality, low quality data that should be merged and integrated to answer big questions. And everybody in the pilots needs to assess the data in an efficient way, and or to improve their tools that they already have and validate and deliver to the rest of the community that could be interested in the effort. So, which is this community? Scientists, decision makers, stakeholders, and even students. The project, of course, is supported by technical experts that are organizing works in different work packages that they are presented here, and of course the strong involvement of the work package dedicated to dissemination for additional user engagement. And the idea is, of course, that will be presented during the day by other expert people, is to discover the access the data, to organize the data in a suitable way to do analytics, and also to test the best way to do this. And the main objective is in the project is to exploit what has already been made available by users, exchange information, testing, and redo things only if strongly necessary. And the idea is to provide this thematic service through a one-stop shop interface, which is called the Earth Analytical Lab, where you could have access, people could have access to these resources, and applying a fair principle, engaging other users, also thanks to the support of the participant infrastructure. Within the EOSC environment, we are also exploiting the opportunity of the environment, and this is the reason why we are here, because we are trying to set up connection with other projects that are strongly related to our goals, to exchange and share expertise and improve the resources for the wider community, and contribute and exploit the EOSC marketplace from different point of views. What is the real challenge? Is really to go from a concept to practice, to put in practice this idea of creating a common framework of work, and also to improve the language. We have pilots that are already heterogeneous among them. They need to start talking, and they have to talk with the other ones, and many commonalities have been found and are also clear from my presentations. We really want to fully exploit the trans-domain interoperability, and the only way to do is to work together, to think about how to sustain these efforts, and also to plan for long-term collaboration. Because beyond the two different aspects that are mentioned at the beginning, so enhance the sharing of expertise and knowledge and resources, and favoring the tuning of the best computational methods with experts, the thing that is more important from my point of view in the project is promote in synergies that comes from trans-domain interaction. And the final goal is to offer competitive fair solution in the EUSC framework. Let me thank the pilot members that are led by me, I don't know how much well, and also all the partners of the project with whom we are working strongly to solve these multifaceted aspects, and all the attendees here, and also apologizing for the problems we had.
Thank you, Maria Luisa.